Live from the Marsh Theater in San Francisco, it's the Will and Willie Show. And I want to give props to the Marsh Theater, by the way. Artistic director Stephanie Weissman created the Marsh in 1989 as a breeding ground for solo performances. Since its inception, the Marsh has drastically expanded and now has theaters in Berkeley and San Francisco and puts on over 400 performances a year, including Will Durst's Elect to Laugh, which will
every Tuesday here
Tuesday through election
and
day.
doing the weekend before the election in Berkeley. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Friday and Saturday, November 3rd and 4th.
And great coverage. The Chronicle did a profile on the Marsh several days ago, and really good, really well done.
And well deserved.
Everything you said, plus.
And Casa Bonampak is a place across the street, has all sorts of Mexican, or what should I say, Latino, Hispanic artifacts across the street, including these piñatas. And my favorite is the hat that says, "Make America Think Again." I think I'll buy that at the end of the show. And here, I'm Paul Wells, moderator, producer with...
I'm Will Durst, comic, columnist, and bon vivant.
And I'm Willie Brown, friend of comic.
Hard to tell which one is actually the politician in the comic sometimes. And Carlo Marinucci from Politico.com.
Friend of Willie Brown, who's a friend of Will Durst.
This is our Q&A. We're going to do it a little different. Lee Houskeeper brought his friend, the Naked Trump. And
the Naked Trump head.
And you have a question, Lee.
I do.
Come up to the microphone.
Well, post-November 8th, Trump will not retire gracefully and has an amazing organization. I'm on his email chain because I bought a couple of Trump things from them, and I get 15 emails a day.
Wow.
So that organization, and he's a master at getting it funded and paying himself, will go on. What could that conceivably look like, and how will that affect the political landscape?
You know, I think this is going to be something interesting to watch, because when you're talking about women possibly coming forward with complaints against Donald Trump, you have to, with relation to this whole, the lewd comments that he made, possible sexual harassment or hostile workplace issues. Gloria Allred just had a press conference today on that subject. I just talked to her right before we came here. It looks clear that there are women out there. You may see, Gloria, if you may recall, represented the victims of Bill Cosby, Tiger Woods, So the message today was, hey, there may be women out there, will be, and what? So the question is, what happens to the Trump brand after November 8th? Because win or lose, talking to Christine Pelosi today, she said, what group is going to want to do a conference at the new Trump Hotel in Washington, D.C.? What women's group is
not National Organization of Women?
Yeah.
That's one's out, yeah.
The whole thing was about the brand and growing the brand, and so whatever happens on election day, the brand is a tarnished brand, and possibly you're looking at years of lawsuits. Who knows? I mean, I think it's a fascinating question. What happens to Donald Trump? A lot of people have suggested what he really wants is a media empire with Steve Bannon, and I've heard some of the analysts suggest he wants a media empire that is aimed at bashing Hillary for the next 4 years, 8 years, whatever. I think he can dream about that if he loses, but he'll still be a loser, and I don't know how much. If he is, that's what I'm saying. If he is, then how much do people care what he has to say after the election? That's going to be interesting to watch.
Well, they didn't care much about what he said before the election, and that's why he was being terminated. In that show that he was doing, it had run out of its steam. No longer was it
Celebrity Apprentice.
Interest in correct. And as fascinated as people have been seeing somebody else get fired, they stop enjoying that carnage. And as a result of that, that show was canceled. He had gone literally in the tank. And so I don't think he's going to be the media giant that maybe he wished to be. I also think that he's going to have a lot fewer friends. It's kind of amazing if you saw a movie many years ago about the presidency, and people were looking great and having a great time with you, and by the time the end of the film, you were there by yourself. And all those people and all the stuff was floating around that had been available to them, they'd all gone. Trump is going to find himself in that category, and there's no question that he's going to be looking for the fourth wife.
He's auditioning right now.
Yes.
Did you ever see the movie A Face in the Crowd with Andy Griffith, where he plays Dusty Rhodes and and then he doesn't know that the microphone is on? A bunch of losers out there, and I can do whatever. Well, I think the grabbing the private parts might have been that moment. Might have been just a little too much hypocrisy.
But if Gloria really wishes to do something significant on Hillary's behalf, she will in fact put together the same kind of attack operation she did with reference to Bill Cosby and some of the other people she's gone at, and do it before the 8th of November. Nothing would be better than to have 52 victims of Trump.
Well, I think it's very possible. The press conference today, she's demanding that Mark Burnett, the producer of The Apprentice, and MGM release the transcripts and the tapes from The Apprentice. Already, you've seen some of the transcripts in which he sort of denigrates a couple of the contestants for their skin or whatever. The suggestion is, if this show was rigged, if women were sexually harassed, I'm not saying they were, but that's the argument. Then you've got an issue of hostile workplace, sexual harassment, and look, this is a powerful guy. A lot of women are not going to want to come forward. He loves lawsuits, as we know, but so that was Cosby's thing too, and the world has changed since. That whole situation. We've seen the social media has bring some of these women together, and you've got an attorney like Allred. This could be very interesting to watch going forward, to see if they release any of those tapes, or even if Burnett doesn't, somebody out there does. This is just been.
I was wondering in one town, as I do regularly, and a Trumpite said to me, you're a politician. Didn't you have some skeletons? I said, no, I did not. I'm no longer a politician, so I don't really have to answer your question. But if you're going to compare Trump's activities with skeletons, that's a graveyard. That's not skeletons.
Oh, my God. We have another question here on the Will and Willie Show. And just say who you are and where you're from and your question. Go ahead. Right up to that.
Hi, my name is Josh York. I live here in San Francisco. And here in the city, we have what is effectively a civil war happening between the Board of Supervisors and the mayor's office. There's 4 propositions on the ballot to disempower the mayor. And in the state, we have Sanchez versus
Harris.
Yeah.
Right?
And Barbara Boxer came out today and endorsed Roe, I think. And Carter came out and endorsed Honda, or maybe I have that backwards.
Yeah.
Our Democrats here in California, you talked about winning 2 seats in the Senate in Missouri, but our Democrats here are locked in a civil war.
Yeah, I think there's a family feud thing happening with Democrats here, because as more and more of them, you're absolutely right, face each other in these general election contests. You've got Kamala Harris and Loretta Sanchez. In Silicon Valley House race, you've got Ro Khanna and Mike Honda. And that's a real ugly race also.
It was a real ugly race 2 years ago.
Yeah, but it got uglier, though, when the guy that was working for Honda got bounced by Honda apparently some time ago, and he went over and started working for that's right. And in the process, he took all of the keys electronically with him apparently to everything, and they have 44 separate hits from his computer post his exit.
On Honda's computer.
That's right,
Oh,
to
wow.
Honda's computer. And apparently they started watching it about 9-10 months ago, maybe even a year ago. And they just said, wait a minute, let him keep doing it. And we will file the lawsuit at the appropriate time. And then they discovered that it could possibly be criminal conduct. And
It's trespass, isn't it?
well, there is now a
yeah.
statute that bars you from tapping and hacking and doing those kinds of things. And in this case, the opponent attempted to have the court delay any action with reference to this lawsuit till after the campaign. And of course, oh, no, we're not.
I think both sides were in court today on that one.
Yeah.
That's one's going to be interesting to watch. There's both sides have an argument on this one. It's just an ugly race. I mean, and to go to the question, I mean, it really does tell us you've got the progressive Democrats and sort of the moderate Democrats. In all of these races, you're seeing that kind of profile.
Well, keep in mind, though, this guy Ro has been looking for somewhere to run. Originally, he was going to run against Pete Stark, and he got convinced by the powers to be that Stark was already 106, and he would probably not make 108, and if you just stick around, let him have it one more time, or you will be in a prime position, and that's where he lived at that time. Lo and behold, this young district attorney from Alameda County stepped in and said, I wasn't part of the deal,
Yeah.
so I'm running.
I'm
And he
taking
beat
that Stark,
That's right.
yeah.
And he beat Stark. And with that, Ro got a motorhome and moved.
He went district shopping.
He went district shopping for another elder statesman or elder member of the estate. Oh, and that's what he did. He went elder shopping, and he found a Honda,
But
and he has taken on Honda.
But let's remember,
in
Honda
that
has
district.
problems too. He's got an ethics investigation.
What?
Honda has an
And he's
ethics
84.
investigation.
But yeah, but
75.
he wasn't in a motorhome. He's been living and operating in San Jose forever. I mean, like forever. He's been there. He was in the legislature from there and what have you. And so I'm highly suspect of people who constantly go looking for
Carpetbaggers.
opportunity. to-
Yeah.
You know,
That's
this
right.
goes to though to the issue. I'm not to take sides, but just to lay it out there of the what's been called the gerontocracy of the Democratic Party in this state. Because when you look at the House delegation here, you know, they're all late 60s, early 70s. A lot of them. Nancy Pelosi. You look at Diane. You look at. Let's go down the list. And there is this argument that by some people that, you know, some people have to come up new leadership.
Well, you know-
why did Barbara drop
Not to
out?
make
Barbara
sense,
was
takes
doing
time.
great.
Yeah, but she's been one to quit for a while.
She's not that old, though. I mean, Dianne Feinstein is 84.
No, she's the oldest member of the U.S. Senate
Yeah.
Wow.
currently,
But Barbara
That's a distinction.
got out early.
in her 70s.
In her 70s, right?
Is she 70?
Yes.
She's, oh yeah,
Yes.
of course
Yeah.
she is. But keep in mind that there is some natural transition. For an example, in Monterey, Sam Farr is quitting, and Jimmy Panetta, Leon Panetta's son,
Yeah.
is running for that seat. And I suspect that process is going to repeat itself in the Inland Empire. There was a guy named Joe, I forget his last name, Latino. He got replaced by someone who Bloomberg backed, a younger member. And the same thing happened in San Diego. So there is some transition of people without the necessity of looking.
Well,
for
George
a job.
Miller quit when he was
Yeah,
only.
yes, he did. That's right.
Early.
But you know,
And-
the turnover is not very big in California.
No, the
It
turnover
doesn't
in
happen
politics is not very big anywhere.
They're hanging on there, and you know, a lot of people. If Dianne Feinstein decides to run again, she'll be.
You want to create
85.
unemployment? I mean, what?
I would
she
never
running
do
again?
that. She's going to be 85 again if she runs again.
She is going to run. Let me assure you.
In 2018?
I
he's
chair
the master.
her
He
last
knows.
committee. Yes, she is going to run for re-election.
So
She's
should
already
be,
fundraising, isn't she, Mayor? She's already fundraising.
She's doing everything.
That's right.
Carlo Marinucci is our guest from Politico.com. We're almost at the end of our hour, and I had this one question because we don't have someone else coming up. This is from one of these columns I clipped. What is this crap on the ballot? Because we haven't talked about anything.
Wow, what a concise question.
Yes. What is this crap on the ballot?
Yeah, your
And look
voter
at the
pamphlet
size
is
of this thing.
233 pages. You've got 17 ballot measures.
That's just one voter
Yeah, that's
pamphlet.
right.
That's
That's
the
just
second
that's
one.
a state. If you're in San Francisco, you're really screwed. I'm sorry. You know, what is it? Another
That's
couple-
just a state.
That's just a state.
What's the city?
222.
How many is the city?
222, I think.
222 is the city, and the state is... Well, 222 is the state,
State,
and the
yeah,
city
yeah.
city is almost as big.
Yeah,
Jesus.
they're just like phone books.
Yeah.
You've got to, you've got to.
Manhattan phone books. Not just phone
So
books.
start studying now for the election day. And
Just vote no on everything.
yes, just vote no on everything.
But just think if you were, but just think if you were the unfortunate newsboy or newsgirl, and you had to go door to door to carry the postman. You got to deliver the material.
All those, yeah.
Can you believe how you would be
They're
able?
sending these to every voter.
You'd be able to retire
It's
with an injury.
yes, disability.
When I was a teenager in the summer in New York, I delivered encyclopedias in Midtown Manhattan.
Yeah, thank you.
Working in the post office, I have a bad back to this day.
That's
At the
a
end
bad
of our
decision
hour. It's
on
gone
your
too
part.
fast.
Don't blame me for that.
It's been wonderful having
has.
Carla Marinucci. Give her a big hand as our guest.
Being here.
The Will and Willie Show,
10:62,
starring
bless.
Will Durst and Willie Brown, is a Flow Communications production. Special thanks to the Marsh Theater, our AV crew, Ace and Hugh of RealityCheckTV.com, and especially our executive producer, William O'Keefe, and to Tiger Lynn with one N, and TigerLynn.com for her music from the CD Soulfire, and you can get us on the internet at willandwillie.com.